Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we will create our first mapping session and workflow. We will also run that workflow and see the results in the workflow monitor. I have created an employee and department table in a schema called ETL user. Let us go to mapping designer. So as explained in previous videos, we will have mainly three tools, which is designer, workflow manager and monitor. A developer will work on only these three tools. Repository manager is usually managed by Informatica admin team. We will create a mapping from designer. We will create a session which has an underlying mapping, and we will run it from the workflow manager, and we will see the results from workflow monitor. Within the designer, we will have 5 workspaces, which are source analyzer, target designer, transformation developer, maplet designer and mapping designer. We would need source analyzer, target designer and mapping designer for most of the ETL code, but I will also explain about these two workspaces as well in the upcoming videos. For now, we will try to import the table which we have created in the ETL user database. Our requirement here is to just build a one-on-one mapping from a table to a file. I'll go to the source menu. I'll click on import from database. So here it will provide the ODBC connection. As I already have the connection created, I have it available here. Let me show you by deleting it. I'll click on the add. Now I'll select the required Oracle driver. Now I'll provide a unique name. So this is a local connection which will be available only in my system. So it's a local host. Port is 1521. Now SID is XC. I'll click on test to connect. I'll provide the credentials. Okay, connection is working. Now I have this available in my user data sources. I'll select this one and I'll click on OK. Now I have the username, owner and the password. Now I'll provide the table name which I want to import, which is EMP. Then I'll click on connect. Now I got the table listed. I'll select the table. I'll click on OK. Now I got this imported in my source analyzer. Now I'll save it by pressing Ctrl S. Now you should see here employee inserted. If you go here, you can see the table available in the sources. Now the source is ready. Now I need to create the target. For now, I'll just create a target manually by clicking the create option, and I'll name this tgt emp flat file. So database type is flat file. I'll click on create. Now I'll go to columns, then I'll create few columns. It's not mandatory to match the exact column name as in the source, and I'll save it. Now my source and target is ready. Now I'll go to mapping designer. Whenever you create a mapping, the source and target needs to be built before creating the mapping through the source workspace and the target workspace. Once source and target is ready, drag and drop the source from your sources tab. Before that, I need to create a mapping. Either I can provide a mapping name here itself, or I can go and create a mapping from the mappings menu. So I'll create a mapping name as per the naming standards. So as it is a EMP file load, I'll name it in such a way. Now I'll drag and drop the source first. Now when I try to drag and drop the sources, I got one transformation called source qualifier transformation. So source qualifier transformation is used to read the data from the source. By default, it is set in such a way that the source qualifier will come along with the source whenever you drag and drop the source from the left side navigation to the workspace. So once you have the source ready, I'll just drag and drop my target from the target tab. Okay, I have my target also available right now. Now I'll just connect all the ports. I'll press shift button to select all ports at a time. Now I have it connected. Now there is no issue to leave a port without connecting in target. Now I'll save it. The mapping is ready. Now let us go and create a workflow which will have a session that has this mapping as an underline. Let us go to workflow manager. Now we are in the workflow manager. In the workflow manager, we will have three workspaces. First one is called task developer, second one is called workflow designer, and third one is called workflow designer. We would need only workflow designer for most of the time, but we will also cover task developer and workflow designer in further videos. So as we have the mapping already created, let me go and create a workflow first. I'll name the workflow as per the naming standard. Okay, workflow is created. So whenever we create a workflow, we will get a start task by default. Now I need to create a session which has the underlying mapping which I created. I'll click on the session task from this menu and I'll click on anywhere in the empty workspace. Now every mapping which is created in the folder through the designer will be available. This folder will be listed here. As we have only one mapping created, I'll just select this mapping itself. Now session is created. After creating a session, we need to link this session with the start. So I'll click on this link task button. Now I'll connect it. After connecting, I'll save it by pressing Ctrl S. Now the workflow is saved. Now the workflow is created, but we need to configure this session. Now I'll double click the session or I'll click on right click and edit. Then I'll go to mapping. Now there are two things which we need to configure. One is what should be the source and what should be the target. As we know, the source is a table. We need to provide a connection name here. And as the target is file, we need to provide the target directory and also the file name. Now I'll go to source qualifier under sources. Now if I click on this button, it's saying there are no connections in the repository, which means we haven't created any connections which can be configured here. The one that we created in the designer, that was a ODBC connection that is local to your system, but we need to have a connection at the server level. Now I'll go to connections, I'll click on relational, then I'll click on new. Now I'll select my database type, which is Oracle. I'll provide a connection name. I'll provide the username. And the password and also the connect string. Okay, connection is created now. Let me go back to the properties. Okay, connection is created. I'll select the connection. I'll go to target now. Now we need to configure the output file directory. I would like to get the file created in this path. So I'll copy that path and put it here. And also I'll provide a file name. Click on apply, okay, then save, Ctrl S. Okay, the workflow is created as well and we have configured everything to run this workflow. Let us try running this workflow. I'll right click and then click on start workflow. Now I'll go to the monitor. Okay, the workflow is running. Workflow is complete. Now under the workflow, the mapping is configured in this session, right? Now let us right click on the session, click on get run properties. Now you can see here the source there were 14 records. Now all 14 records are loaded into target as well, which means we should be able to see the file with 14 records in the target directory. Let me go to the directory. Okay, we can see the file here. Let's open and see it. Okay, we can see all 14 records in the file. So this is a simple workflow which we have created for demo. We will cover more in detail about the transformations in the upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.